Hello my beautiful people, welcome to the next installment of the Numerology project. I'm Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much to all of you continued subbies. It truly means the world and I'm so grateful for you helping me to reach the milestone that I've recently just hit. So thank you so much. If you would like to book a personal tarot reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. If you would like to donate to the channel because you feel like this or any of my other videos have helped you in some way, shape or form, feel free to donate on the web link below. So with all of that out the way, we are delving into life path number 8. If you are wondering what your life path number is and you don't know how to calculate it, I have put out a video called How to Calculate Your Life Path Number. And there is also an accompanying video to this entire series called The Power of Numerology. I invite you to check that out because it will give you a really broad overview of the numerology. And then obviously we delve into the numbers, you know, in a bit more detail, let's say. So life path 8, I really like this one. I know a few 8s actually, and the funny thing is some of them are, you know, real believers in spiritual arts and stuff, and then others are like totally, you know, not at all, and even they are so typically their life path number, it's actually quite funny. You know, I find it that it's very similar with astrology as well. So life path 8, the number 8 is considered very lucky in Chinese culture. There's lots to say about the number 8 actually. It's quite an interesting number in and of itself. So the number 8, if you turn it on its side, it's actually the Mobius veil, or you know, the Ouroboros some people call it, which is actually the snake eating its own tail. But you know, it's got that infinity symbol about it, and for that reason it's about accumulation, and very often the number 8 is an accumulation of all of the things that have come previous to it, and they tend to be able to incorporate a bit of this, a bit of that. It's got like a very chameleonic type energy to it actually, the number 8. You know, it's got links to serpents and snakes as well, you know, that whole crisscrossing thing. And the Mobius veil, you know, some people call it karmic, some people call it karma, some people call it you know, the Akashic records. All of that sort of stuff is actually deeply tied to the number 8. It's a very powerful number. I mean, they're all powerful in their own right, but the number 8, it, you know, in and of itself is considered very lucky, like I said, in the Oriental, especially in the mystery traditions as well. You know, and it's got like that, almost like a dual nature to it. And we're going to talk about that as well. So life path 8 is all about accumulation, right? It's all about acquiring things. It's all about creating pretty much something out of nothing. One of the things about the number 8 is they are deeply resourceful. This is the sort of person that could turn a tenner into 100 quid, turn 100 quid into 1,000. You know, it's somebody that really knows how to get the best and the most out of what they already have. And in that way, they are very much able to build almost any idea or any accumulative idea that they can think of. So, you know, really, really exciting. So let's look at some of the blessings and the lessons for the life path 8. So business and finance are very important to the life path 8. And these are things, and interestingly enough, very often the life path 8 will start out not necessarily having a lot of financial support from, you know, their peers or their family. Very often they come into, you know, they incarnate into families that don't actually have much at all. And it's part of that drive that then sees them go on to want to create something better. And because they understand what it is to be without, or have had an experience of lack, of not having, of, you know, worrying about where money's going to come from, they tend to go the complete opposite way and transmute and transform that energy into being highly successful and highly abundant beings, you know. And the other thing as well is, although it is about business and finance, the life path 8 is about the accumulation of wealth, but also the understanding of what wealth truly is. So business, very often the life path 8 is moved to own a business, to run a business, to start a business. Life Path 8 does very well with starting a business, getting it really going and then selling it on. It's something that they kind of live for. The other thing about the life path 8 is accumulation of wealth and finance. This is something that they are naturally inclined to do, and it's something that they do with absolute ease and finesse. It's almost like they're lightning rods for money, and they have a really good understanding of it. So, in terms of finance as well, they're great with managing money, great with budgeting with money, good with financial planning. So, we'll go into that more in jobs and vocations for sure. But they're also really able to have this really broad perspective on things. So it's kind of like they might start, I don't know, a candle making business from their kitchen, but this is the sort of person that already has it in their mind, in their scope of how to turn that kitchen run business into an international business. These are the sort of people that don't just dream big, they do big. Number 8s are real go-getters, very, very powerful energy in that respect. Leading on nicely as well, power. The thing about the number 8 is, in order to build these things, in order to accumulate anything of wealth, of substance or material success, you need to have a fair amount of power, internal power and external power, and therefore the number 8 is kind of like I almost see them like the balance of power is the number 8, and the reason being is because the number 8 inherently understands that by making other people's lives better, I will make my own better. By giving, I receive. By receiving, I give. I'm inclined to give, rather. By receiving, I'm inclined to give. And, power dynamics, lots of internal personal power the life path 8 has. And very often, and I can hear a lot of you kind of like, oh, well, that's not really me. Very often the power of the life path 8 is very silent and very dignified. These are the sort of people very much like a 9, and very similar to a number 4 as well, in that they will get it done. They understand what the goal is, goal setting, goal getting, all of that sort of stuff. Planning, and following that plan into completion, very number 8 traits. Very often, life path 8 goes on to be self-employed, goes on to start a company, build a company, and these are the sort of people that will build them from the ground up. They will start it in the grassroots. They'll be there with their bucket and spade, and they're tending and feeding the seed, and they will watch it grow from the seed right through to the mighty oak. This is somebody that is ready and willing to put the effort in. Gutsy and brave. So these are all the blessings that we're talking about so far, and in order to build anything, in order to start out on a path of something that goes, national or global, or, becomes a phenomena, or, of any type of business, it takes a lot of guts. You've got to have nerves of steel to go after what you want. You've got to be able to stick in for it and say, right, okay, you know what? I'm going to use all of my abilities and all of my power in order to focus on this thing that I want to build. I decided I wanted to do this, and I'm going to stand by it. I'm going to stick with it. Very determined, absolute determination, understanding of where I want to be, what I want to do, what I want to become, what I want to create. Life path 8 has a really good innate understanding of those things. And they very often go on to be highly successful in whatever their chosen field is. They usually do very, very well. They usually step into roles that are, at the head of something. And very often it's because this is the sort of person that joins a company as a janitor and leaves the company as the CEO. That is a life path 8, and they are happy being at the bottom rung because they can already visualize the top rung, and that's where it's like they see the ladder and they will just continue to climb it. So some of the lessons of the life path 8, and these, I don't know why, the thing that I really feel with the life path 8 is they have a moral obligation because they do so well and they're so successful. I don't think I've ever met a life path 8 who wasn't deeply generous or deeply very giving. It's about being fair. If you've already, as a life path 8 very often does, has the experience of what it is not to have much, of what it is to wonder, you know, how am I going to pay all of these this month, you know, and then to suddenly go to the opposite end of the scale where money is no object, where you understand or have all the resources that you need in order to build everything that you want. It's about being fair. Within business, it's kind of like they've got this innate moral compass built in, so they could see how something could totally benefit them, and they could probably take a few steps up the ladder, you know, in one foul swoop, but it might come at the cost of somebody else. Number 8 will just say, do you know what, I know I'm going to get there, so I don't need to step on somebody else to get to my dreams. I'll achieve them the right way, and when I'm there, I'll give that person down there a hand and help them get up. That is a number 8 in absolute entirety. Go for it, be brave, you know, and this is very often the case because they come from these places of lack, because they come from you know, experiences, you know, where usually they don't have much, or the external resources aren't necessarily there to support what their big, high, lofty goals and dreams are. You know, they might have the experience of people saying, oh, you're crazy to dream that, or you're mental to go after that, you'll never achieve it. Be brave and go for it. If you're a life path 8, that's a part of your path, to transmute that and then turn around and say to people, I told you it could be done. Do you want my help in doing it for yourself? That's a big part of the life path 8 energy, balance and harmony. Big lesson for them, because you know, when we talk about balance, we talk about this, the time off. There tends to be an energy with the life path 8 that, you know what, and this comes into the self-reliance, they're so used to building from the ground up that they can literally fill every single role in the company, and for that reason they have very high standards and they're very exacting. And that's one of the reasons as well, taking time off for that work-life balance, it can sometimes be a problem for them. They get so far into the business and, you know, doing things and being here, there and everywhere that it's kind of like, oh, okay, 2 years have gone and I haven't even had a holiday. If you're a family person, if you've got a family, that can start to wear and tear on them, especially with, you know, if you've got a partner. Enjoy more, you know, take more time out to enjoy what you've accumulated. It's all well and good accumulating massive wealth, a nice house and nice things and, you know, good suits and ties and fine restaurants. But if you don't ever really stop to savor that, what does it mean to you, you know? And that's a big part of their lesson. Use your time wisely. So, you know, why is this a lesson for an 8? Because quite literally, the life path 8 will set themselves 10 tasks. Say each task takes an hour. The life path 8 will set themselves, you know, each task will take an hour. You've got an 8-hour day at work. The life path 8 person will set themselves 10 tasks within that 8-hour day and they will accomplish them. Sometimes this has an energy of like they'll push themselves too far, and for that reason it can have an adverse effect on the health. So just keep an eye on that. And honesty, you know, this kind of goes into the being fair thing. They're very honest in business, and sometimes that can get the better of them, you know, because they're not that sort of person, because they don't have that mentality. It's quite hard for them to fathom that somebody else would do that. And obviously in business, they learn the lessons very quickly, you know, and one of the other things with a life path 8 is if you cross them in business after, especially given that they're so open to helping people, if you cross them, they will cut you off completely. There's no two ways about it. So what are some of the other stuff about a life path 8? Expansion of vision, absolutely. Building of your ideas, going for what you want. The planet for this is the sun, or it could, you know, some people say it's Jupiter, but the sun seems more apt to me. The colours are pink and rose. Because they're the higher, pink and rose are actually the higher frequencies of red, which, you know, it goes beyond the self and the passion and the drive, and it turns into something that is more all-encompassing. Rose quartz is the stone. Diamond is also a stone associated with the life path 8. Accumulation of wealth, we've said that life path 8 is very perceptive as well. really good at haggling, really good at bargaining. You know, these are the sort of people that can turn a tenner into 100 quid, but this is also the sort of person that could get like £1,000 item for 500 quid. You know, this is the sort of person that really understands those balancing scales of power. You know, they really get that. The desire to fight for social injustice. This comes into the balance, the honesty, the being fair. Very entrepreneurial spirit, a very philanthropic spirit as well resides in the 8 path. They want to naturally help the underdog. They see injustice, they see hurt, they see lack, and they want to address that in the world because it's within them to want to balance things out. You know, where they see barrenness, they want to bring fertility, to put it in, you know, a really simple term. Always seeks to help the underdog and to be their champion. Love that about a life path 8. Always high achievers and goal setters, and they are absolute go-getters and goal setters. And absolutely, I totally believe all of that, because I know, like I said, I know quite a few life path 8s, and a lot of this stuff is actually them. You know, it doesn't necessarily fit for everybody, exactly this. We are all so much more than just our life path number. Jobs and vocations. Banking, finance and business owners for obvious reasons. Accumulation, wealth, money, finance. Good with managing those things, good with understanding those things. Entrepreneurs, very often life path 8 will be a CEO. Politicians, law enforcement for the social injustice aspect of it, you know, really wanting to see wrongs righted and stuff. Investors, people that work in government, oddly enough, psychiatric workers as well. And I'm wondering if that's because of, you know, 8 is the house of Scorpio in the zodiac, so it's got kind of links to the depth and the, you know, stuff. But I think that kind of links into the perceptiveness. They've got this innate ability to see things exactly as they are and to want to address them. And if they see something as imbalanced, you know, anything within your psychiatric you know, aspect or of your being, then they want to address that. So, you know, they're good at that aspect as well. And finally, an events coordinator. Oh, they love that kind of thing, because they will literally, they could throw you like a 10 grand wedding on a 500 quid budget. Do you know what I mean? That's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but it's very much that kind of energy. They will get the absolute most out of what they have. You know, this is the as a really good example, actually, for those of you that have seen it, in Cinderella, the animals all get together and they make her dress, which is like the most beautiful dress, out of just these little scraps of, you know, that separately they would be considered nothing. They bring them together and they create this beautiful gown out of it. And that is a life path 8. That is somebody that can take, you know, what other people would consider, you know, rubbish, you know, or whatever, and they can turn it into something that makes everybody go like, wow, okay. And they're also original and free thinkers. So that is the life path 8. I hope you enjoyed it. I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance itself. Take care, and I'll see you very soon for more videos.